We're back in Loudon, New Hampshire for the 5th race of the playoffs, 17th race of this regular season here. And the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series is set to square off here today at the 1 Mile Oval in New England. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Alongside me tonight, we have Cody Anderson up in the booth, Overtake iRacing League Xfinity Series driver and Cup Series driver of the number 42. Cody, you mentioned it before, but you can't always get what you wish for. Here at New Hampshire, it's flat, it's fast, but it can be slippery. And talk a little bit about this place.
Yeah, truck drivers will be pretty lucky tonight that we're going to have a pretty overcast sky, cool track temp. That cool track temp will help a majority of these drivers out of keeping that back end of the truck underneath of them. It's still going to be a lot of throttle control coming off that corner, but I believe we're still going to see a bunch of side-by-side racing, and I think you may see some 3-wide too going into the corners.
2 to 7 degrees of banking, 1 degrees on the straightaways, 4-corner oval, of course, 1 mile in length. And this facility built back June 5th, 1990. Started a slew of different racetracks for an entire decade that were built through the 90s. Some of them a lot faster than New Hampshire, but not as characteristic as this track. Similar in the flatness to Martinsville Speedway. Race analysis up on your screen. 100 laps here tonight. Pit road speed limit at 45 miles per hour. And of course, as always, 3 tire sets available with 3 green-white checkers. We'll have a stage lap at lap 35. And we are racing the iRacing official fixed setup. Let's get a quick look at the points here before we go grid. Barrett Morton is leading by 12 points after we eliminated 4 more drivers. We're taking that top 12 after last week's race. And Daniel Cunningham is in the 2nd position. Lucas Lyons back down to 3rd here. But you see that 4-win regular season for Barrett Morton. He hasn't won since, and he's been struggling a little bit here. And every time we reset, that points lead seems to get a little bit tighter, Cody.
Yeah, that's going into the ending of that first round. He had some okay races in the first 2 races, and then he ended up having to miss the Circuit of the Americas race, which really didn't hurt him. That's going into the 2nd round. He still had a pretty decent playoff point gap going into it, but he's really going to need to have a good race here tonight if he wants to try and maintain that gap or gain a little bit more points so he can almost guarantee himself into that championship 4.
Well, speaking of a good race, he's off to a good start here today. Starting on the pole here tonight with a 29.052. It is the 9 of Barrett Morton, and he will start alongside Bobby Hall Jr. with a 29.067. So just 1/100 of a second separate those two. Row number 2 belongs to Lucas Lyons with Matt Grenier in the 4th position. 5th spot goes to Peyton Hubbard, very fast 51. He's really turned up the heat here lately. Got that win at the road course, I believe. Dakota Alex Healy going to start in 6th. Kyle Mason, 7th position with Daniel Cunningham in 8th. That car really turns it up here. And Sean Kaser, Ronnie Shirk Jr. will be row number 10, or position number 10.
Coming in 11th and 12th, you'll have Eric Parks in the 73 and Michael Robinson in the number 4. 13th, 14th, Kenneth McCullough Jr., James Kaufman, Daniel Worthington, and Wes Wiegand will bring up 15th and 16th. Christopher McCullough, Chad Ross, 17th and 18th. And then rounding out your top 20, you'll have Ron Morris Jr. and Tom Hall.
Ryan Kaiser in 21st position, Michael Cole in 22nd, 23rd, John Kinder, Dustin Reinstedel in 24th, and rounding out that 25 truck field, Jeremiah Hobbs in the number 10. Well, let's get set to go racing live from Loudon. Barrett Morton into turn 1. Here we go. Green flag is out, and we're live in New England. Bobby Hall who caught the wall there off the exit of turn 2. Slight brush with it there. We can go back on the instant replay, barring that Barrett Morton does come around for that first green flag lap. But there's your running order. You see the 94 has fallen all the way back to the 11th position here. Let's go back on the instant replay and take a look at that. This is actually still under pacing, but it happens right out of turn 2, so we're not too far off from this. A lot of racing still happening on the racetrack in our live shot. I see some changes for positionings happen outside the top 10, but here's the green flag. And not a bad launch here. These guys pretty equal. Of course, you go on green here for the very start of the race, so pretty easy to time. But there's the 48 of Lions to the inside. And watch this bounce off the wall. He gets wiggly loose, sends it off. Nobody else collected, but does create a little bit of a checkup there. We can lap number 1. But now, coming around to complete lap number 3, Barrett Morton showing his strength, showing why he's the points leader coming into tonight, Cody.
Yeah, that's Barrett. He's fallen off just slightly in the playoffs, but coming in with those 4 wins, I mean, coming in the playoffs, he looked pretty strong, but there was a lot of guys who were really coming on at the end of that regular season, and they showed that they deserved their spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, speaking of which, one of those drivers directly behind the 9 right now, that's the 51 of Peyton Hubbard. We talk about a guy that capitalized anytime Morton had an off race, the 51 was there. And then you had guys like Kyle Mace, who's running in 3rd right now, who had a hot start to the Truck Series season. Fell out of that points 12, and we have a caution out on the racetrack. Looks like the 82 of John Kinder, possibly, or the 07 of Brian Kaiser. We'll have to go back on the replay and figure this out, see exactly where this happened. Looks like the 82 and the 07 are going to be involved here. 07 gets loose out of 4, and the 82 followed him right down alongside. I don't think there was any contact there, Cody. I think they just both spun out.
I believe the 07 just got a little loose off the corner. I think the 82 may have had just a little bit of assistance.
Backing it up here on the blimp camera, the 93 just behind. Well, there is a checkup there because of the 07. So that does kind of a help assist the assistance, actually. Well, Kinder had to check up. The 93 had nowhere to go. So Tom Hall can't really be blamed for that one. That happened pretty quick. That brings out our first yellow of the day. Doesn't look like anyone electing to come down pit road just yet. Of course, the 2 drivers that spun out will probably decide to do so. And they will come down on the apron. Something we don't talk too much about. You do have limited tire sets, but if you scrub them off this early in the race, it's kind of difficult to gain your way back up. And of course, a little bit of front end damage as well on the 82 and the 07 from that base plate to the inside wall. So they'll just come down, get some of this damage repaired. Looks like they're going to stay on the same cycle as far as tires go. Unfortunate for it to happen, but it did happen early. I think those 2 drivers can recover from it happening when it did.
Yeah. For sure, being this early in the race, they've still got over 90 laps to go in this thing, and they still got the stage break at lap 30, so still plenty of time for those 2 to get back up through the field, and if they've got a lot of damage to get repaired. Don't want to say it this early, but Cup Series last Wednesday we ran here, and we did have about a handful of cautions there, so we'll see if the truck guys can best the Cup Series and go with less cautions, or if they'll be on about the same boat.
Well, that's the similarity to Martinsville. This racetrack just kind of produces that kind of racing where it's all throttle, and the driver's track. As soon as you get to racing the guys around you, put yourself in a situation where you might stand on it a little too soon, step the rear end out, and it's very difficult with this flat racetrack. Doesn't really help you save it. There's not a lot of places to go, and the likelihood of you getting ran over is pretty high, as you saw there with the 82 once he checked up. So Barrett Morton going to lead him back into turn 1 for the second start of the day. 51 of Peyton Hubbard has maintained this top 5. He's up 3 positions, up to second. Lucas Lyons, Kyle Mace, Matt Grenier, the top 5. One-time winner back there, Alex Healy, looking to get his second one. Actually, he got his second one. What am I thinking? He's a 2-time winner in the season, I believe.
Pocono and...
I'm drawing a blank here, but I want to pop those points up just as a reminder. 1 win. I feel like we had a post-race interview with this guy just recently, trying to get him to say something ridiculous, and I have a soundbite of it. Something about a big old smooch, but I guess another podium finish here in the playoffs, but not a win.
Yep.
He got his win at Pocono, which is also a timeless classic. If you haven't had a chance to hear that, you should definitely check out the Overtake iRacing League Discord. Highly recommend it. But here we go. Pace truck is going to get out of the way this time. And that slightly slower Silverado. It's high rise and it's 18-inch wheels. Going to get out of the way. So 600 horsepower can unleash itself down the front stretch. Morton, Hubbard, side by side. Great launch there for the 9. Back into turn 1. 48 gets a little check up there on the outside of Mace. A little unpredictable here on these early laps as well. And you mentioned it, Cody, the weather here tonight, about 80 degrees on the track temp. So it's a lot grippier than it was in the Cup Series. You're not slipping and sliding around as much. However, it kind of gives you a false sense of confidence. You feel like you can get the run on the middle or take it 3 wide. Think again, because all it takes is one guy on your inside or outside to make a mistake. You can see right now Lucas Lyons is just resisting the urge, but it's there if he wants it.
Yeah, that's in a lot of it too. The track may not be as slippery as what it was in the Cup Series, but this multi-surface track, it just gives you that false sense of security where you think you're going to have the grip and you just get back into it just slightly early. It don't matter what the track temp is, that back end's still going to come around.
Weather up on the top of your screen, it actually came down about 3 degrees as well, down to 77, 69 and overcast, so that track temp could continue to come down, especially if we keep running under yellow. Kyle Mace able to work his way up to second spot. Eric Parks on the outside of Matt Grenier. Grenier has fallen out of the top 5, back to 7th now, and we have side-by-side just behind them. That's Kenneth McCullough Jr. and Daniel Cunningham, another driver that's really turned it up here in playoff time. He started winning races. He didn't do it all season long in the regular races. Decided to start here in the playoffs. Cody, I mean, phenomenal job here from Daniel.
Yeah, he's really turned it up here in these playoffs, proven that he wants to be a championship 4 contender. And he's showing all of his teammates over there at the Bandits Corporation.
Problems. Sorry about cutting you off there, Cody, but it looked like the 55 of Mace went from second back to 4th. A little issue here with the 55. We'll take it back on an instant replay. See if we can find what happened to the 55. Coming out, looked like it was down the front stretch. I don't know if he had any help here. That's Hubbard there on the inside in the 51. And maybe
Looks
just
like that was net code.
Yeah, maybe a little net code, maybe a little on throttle time as well. Unfortunately, Mace gets sent back to the 4th spot. But yeah, back to what you were saying about Cunningham. He's really turned it up here. He's shown these guys, and I agree 100%, that 08 is a playoff 4 contender, but he has to continue this moment. You can't sleep on it for 1 second because he's kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to being in that top 16. He was a little far behind. He's worked his way up there, but he has to continue to perform to maintain that and get into that final race.
Well, that's in just like he did last week at Darlington, bringing home that win. All it takes is in 2 weeks, win one of those 3 races, and he'll be there, but a lot of that's easier said than done, especially in this truck series. There's a lot of top driving skill within our quote-unquote lower series of our league, but even being the lower series, there's still some top-notch guys that run all 3 series, and they still put up a pretty good fight to majority of the guys up in the Cup Series as well.
We got to turn 4 to lead another time by. There goes the 9 of Morton. And speaking of the talent, I mean, Lucas Lyons, Peyton Hubbard, Barrett Morton, Kyle Mace, a little hit or miss this season, but very talented as well. Alex Healy, Eric Parks. I mean, a lot of these drivers up here in the top 10, all ahead of Daniel Cunningham right now. And he's fighting with the 73 right now of Parks. Not able to clear. He'll maintain that position for now. A little bit of side-by-side behind him. The 4 of Michael Robinson's going to complete a pass to get up to 11th position. He gets around Christopher McCullough on lap 18. A little wiggle there from Jeremiah Hobbs. The WD-40 Toyota Tundra is struggling a little bit here in the late run. We're about halfway through this long run, and he's up 10 spots, but he's kind of went stagnant, Cody.
Yeah, and he had to start all the way from that final position on the field, so probably used up some of his stuff coming up those 10 positions that he's up right now, but only time will tell. Maybe some of these other guys are just saving a little bit more in these first 19 laps that they ran, even with the caution, and he just used all of his up early to try and get as close as he could up to the stage.
And Cunningham actually on the verge of losing a position to the 0-3. Kenneth McCollum to the inside. That opens up the door for the 24. Sean Kaser's going to take a little peek here out of 4. Not sure who he wants to go with, as they're still door-to-door right in front of him. Now he's going to go to the outside and follow Cunningham into 1. That high line overshot a little bit here by the 0-8. Now the 0-3 washes up the racetrack, and they're going to be door-to-door again coming out of 2. Good defense there by the 0-8 at Cunningham, but for how much longer can he play this game? He's losing ground on Eric Parks, and he comes down on the nose of the 0-3. What a close one there. They think better of it, go back single file. A little checkup there. Christopher McCullough found his way to the inside now. He's going to try to get around Kenneth.
Chris is even up 7 spots right now, so he's fighting for his way. That's 3 drivers all in front of Sean Kaiser right now are all fighting.
The wall. That's Daniel Worthington. Hard slap there. It looked like maybe slid through. Watch this replay. It looks like he just locks it up here, Cody. Nope, has some help by the 10.
Yep, he got door banged by the 10 up there.
Lex Motorsports driver looking to try to rebound after that. Falls back about 3 spots, back to 17th now for Worthington. And I guarantee you if he gets back to the 10 of Hobbs, we might see another yellow. Of course, Hobbs up here in 13th. He's got plenty of cushion to try to get away from that truck. I'm sure he's not happy with him there after that move into 3 and 4.
Well, we got our second place starter all the way back in 18th now. I'm wondering if he had a little bit more issue or if he's just trying to play a strategy game of make it to the stage and just try and shoot for the win.
Of course, that stage at lap 35, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, should have no problem making it on fuel. I feel like they could do that. However, strategy right now for the 94, I think he needs to stop the bleeding. He's hemorrhaging positions, and this track is very difficult to pass. We're seeing that all the way through as we had a change for the lead while we were talking about all that. Peyton Hubbard is going to get by the 9 of Barrett Morton. He'll lead his 3rd lap, so we missed that somewhere in the replay transitioning. But Hubbard takes over, and, it's kind of a rarity to see any changes for spots. You got a few guys outside the top 10 that gain positions quickly, but outside of that, there's not too many trucks on this racetrack that need to even change spots. Grenier's back up to where he was. Lucas Lyons stuck in 3rd. And you got 1 up for Healy and Mace, but not a lot of guys have moved around here.
That's it, and it's getting to the point. These guys' right front tires are probably getting ready to start crying for some help. That's seeing some of these guys mid-pack. That's how much they're pushing up. The guys up front, you got less dirty air, but that right front's got to be hurting for majority of these trucks.
Side by side back here, a little bit deeper in the field. That's Parks on the outside of Christopher McCullough out of turn 4. McCullough not able to complete that pass, and now opens up the 8th spot available for Daniel Cunningham into 1. Approaching that stage, caution. Of course, the top 10 getting points for the playoffs. Gonna be kind of a scratch-off lottery for this 10th spot right now, Cody.
Yeah, it keeps going back and forth. That's watching these two battle it out here. Kenneth, looks like he scraped the wall just a little bit on one of the exits, allowing Sean to get by him. But if they keep playing around too much, Jeremiah Hobbs is going to come in here and put his hat into the fold.
Which is mighty impressive. Up 13 positions already for the 10. And he's up to 12th now. About 6 laps to go when they cross the stripe. He's got plenty of time to do it. These guys get side by side for every second that happens. Hobbs is slowly reeling him in. About half a second now is the gap between the 10 and the 0-3. Hubbard's still your leader. He is stretching out to half a second, or 1.7 ahead of Lucas Lyons, Barrett Morton in that second position. The top 3 have pretty spread out, but then Alex Healy in the 97, he's looking to capitalize here. And he did so well at Pocono. Turn 3 at Pocono, very similar to all 4 corners of this racetrack. Riding on board with the 97 down the backstretch, trying to figure out a way around Lucas Lyons. He's running out of time to do it. 5 laps to go here in the stage to the outside of the 48. Now off the exit of 4, he's going to take the high line. He'll send it into turn 1, I'm sure, and he might complete this pass way up high here into 1. I don't think he intended that, but here's the run off the corner. Will it be enough? No, it will not.
I think this early in the race, coming to that stage, I don't think we're going to see anybody give a bumper just for 1 point, but could be wrong. I've seen some other shocking things happen between all 3 series, so if Alex really wants that 1 point, I think he would give a bumper to Lucas just for that 1 point.
Well, and it might not even be an intentional bumper, but it's so hard to gauge where these guys break in front of you. So you kind of have to change your line as he dives to the bottom in 3. He's going to run down on that bottom lane. Will get the nose to the inside. Lyons a little bit tight off that apex, but he'll get the run on the exit. And that's why it's so frustrating here. You just talked about it as we approach that white flag. But that's where the frustration lies here at New Hampshire. You got a guy next to your door and you can't get clear of him. Eventually, you got no choice. You have to move him, get him out of the line and get around. But here comes Peyton Hubbard off of turn 4. He's going to be your stage winner here at New Hampshire. Stage number 1 completed for the lead. Barrett Morton in second. Alex Healy third. He'll come across the line just in time for that top 3. Lucas Lyons is going to hold on. Looks like just got passed by the 15 as they froze the field, so I'm not sure if they're going to get that position back or not. It goes all the way back to Kenneth McCullough in the top 10 up on your screen.
That's in a lot of these guys are all playoff drivers except for 2 of them, and that's really going to help some of these guys make sure they can make it through to that round of 8. I believe both McCulloughs, they're right on that cusp of getting through.
1 regular caution, and of course the stage caution here now as they get caught up to the pace truck. You're probably going to see a flood on pit road for 4 tires. They're going to use one of those 3 sets. Of course, you had the 82 of John Kinder and the 07 of Brian Kaiser that had that damage, but they elected not to take that first tire set here. So they'll probably come down and follow suit. Here we go. About to get really busy. 51 caught sleeping there for just a second, but he'll come down. 9 of Morton follows him in. Everyone coming down for 4 tires. And Morton right up on the bumper here. 45-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road. Very easy to speed on this, especially if you're the 94 of Bobby Hall, where you lost all those spots. Don't see very many, maybe a couple gambles here with the 04. Track position is king. 9 of Morton's going to win the battle off pit road, and the 51 loses a spot. Healy comes out third. Matt Grenier, Lucas Lyons, the top 5. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break here on V-Speed. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Loudon, New Hampshire. 9 of Barrett Morton has taken back the lead. Peyton Hubbard on the outside. Your pole sitter snags it back on pit road after stage 1, and the 51 won that stage, but now finds himself back in second position here. Alex Healy diving to the inside for second already on turn 1. Door to door here with the 51 of Hubbard. How about Healy? Cody, he's looking really good. Got that top 3 for the first stage. Now looking for more.
Yeah, in this, I believe they're going to have to make at least one more stop for fuel and tires, but it'll come down to, during this stint, who can save their tire the best. And coming to that stage, I believe Healy showed that he was pretty good at it, being able to catch back up and catch that third position for the stage.
Well, he's not saving too much here as he gets clear of the 51. Now goes back into conservation mode. Now he's going to be able to run his line for that long run speed. 04, Christopher McCullough to the inside. Matt Grenier up to 4th spot. So back to where he began this race. The 15.
Trouble on the front stretch.
Oh, it looks like Sean Kaser in the 24. That will be our second official caution of the night. 42 laps in, the 24 off of turn 4. I think we just saw a little bit of what John Kender and the 07 Brian Kaiser went through. I always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, that's their names are so similar, and they pronounce each of them different, I believe.
Backing this up a little bit more, and yeah, it's just another one of those. A little wiggly. Wiggle, wiggle, then assistance. The 10 of Hobbs. Really nowhere to go there. We'll ride on board with the 10.
And Sean did a pretty good job there, too, not hitting that wall very hard, so he shouldn't have very much damage that he's going to need to get fixed.
And we'll back this up one more time, because both these trucks, if you watch the steering wheel, watch the 24 in front, but also watch the wheel of this 10 truck. Both these trucks on this bottom line were loose. So that on throttle time definitely created that scenario. But yeah, great job by Sean to not hit anything, and minimal damage here for the 24. Unfortunately, though, that does scrub a little bit of speed out of these tires, and so if you were in save mode, kind of changes the strategy. You'll see him come down pit road, maybe 4 tires here for the 24. 67 of Michael Cole, the 82. Looks like the 82, yeah. Still trying to get some of that damage repaired. But I'm interested to see if the 24 decides to take 4 tires or not. This could play into his favor, you know, coming down pit road, but yeah, it looks like he's just going to top off with fuel here and send it back out onto the racetrack. But he will probably be guaranteed 1 stop now from here on out. Some of these other guys could be questionable.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what their fuel's looking like. Looking maybe about 45 laps is what you got in a tank. So definitely have at least 1 stop to see if guys want to push it to the very end and hope they can work the strategy right.
That's stretching it, man. I mean, that's an additional, if it's based off what you just told me, that's an additional 10 laps. And so, yeah, the cautions help. But would you be faster if you come down pit road, get 4 tires? The fall off here was about 1.5 seconds in that first 35 lap stint. So do you really want to go that far?
Looking at it, it looks like they've only got about 8 laps on these tires now, 2 or 3 of them being this caution, but most of these guys, I'm pretty sure they're just rolling around in 4th gear right now. Some of them may be shutting their truck off, saving that little bit of fuel, but definitely going to want to probably split this last half of this race just to make sure that you don't put yourself in a bad position where if you do stay out and come in super late, you're going to have a lot of guys in front of you that are on some worse for wear tires that are going to make it pretty difficult for you to come back through.
When checking in back with Bobby Hall, who started outside the pole, has not recovered just yet. We double back up. He's back in 17th position. The 94, of course, started in 2nd spot, so we're looking for him to try to get back up there. You see the red spoilers. He's one of those drivers with that red spoiler, which means he made the cut into that top 12. But today could be one of those defining races that kicks him out of that top 12 if he can't get back up here. We're going to eliminate it down to 8 drivers after next week. You can't afford, I know there's only 25 trucks out here, but it only takes 1 bad race here, Cody, and then you're out of the top 8.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of did with this playoffs season. Instead of 2 races, we wanted to go 3, just so you could have that fact of if you do have 1 bad race and it be the first race of the playoffs, you've got 2 to make up for it.
So the scenarios are there, but it's getting harder and harder with 25 trucks, and we narrow it down to 8. Let's narrow it down to the front 2. Healy, Morton into turn 1. Green flag's back out for the 4th time today. Morton with an excellent start there. Healy playing defense on the outside. Hubbard peeks to the bottom. Now open up the door for the 15 of Grenier, but not going to get that 3rd spot. Lucas Lyons under fire Christopher McCullough going to dive it into turns 3 and 4. He'll get clear of the 48, now going to work on Grenier. Cody side by side for 5th place on back. A lot of these trucks that have been out of the top 10 still struggling to find positions. The 0-3 of Kenneth McCullough Jr. going to get a little hello. Welcome back from the 73 of Parks, who was in the top 10 for the first stint. Now back to just inside of it as he falls in and out from 11th to 10th.
That's it. I think a lot of these guys are planning on having some more caution, so they're wanting to use as much of this first set of tires that they can before they come in and get their second of 2 that are over the wall, or second of 3.
There's Michael Robinson in the 4 truck. Here he comes to the outside line now. Get a good run off of 2. He has picked up 2 positions from 12th starting spot. We saw a lot of speed in this truck in the long run. If we can stay green, look for the 4 to maybe work his way up here. A little loose there off of 4 and a check up. Now Parks is going to dive to the inside and try to take him back out of the top 10. So he was on the momentum swing.
Oh, we got one loose.
It's Tom Hall in the 93. He's still trying to save it. And there it goes.
That's going to bring out a caution for us.
Tom Hall in the 93. Lets it get away from him 2 times here into 1 and 2. Like he lost it right at the entry and then back on the throttle. Still stepping out. I really have to back this up.
Sounded like on the race chatter that he got an apology from the 25.
Well, let's see if Kaufman gets into the back of him here on the V-Speed Instant Replay. There's Bobby Hall. Yeah, definitely some contact there. And then, I mean, he did a hell of a job saving that thing, Cody. He almost had it, and then he got back on the throttle. Those rear tires were just, I mean, they were hot. He had drifted all the way through the entry of that corner, and once you do that, those rear tires, I mean, they do not want to connect.
Yeah, they're pretty slimy once you go for a decent slide like that, and there's just no way to be able to get onto the throttle after that. You've got to let them cool down quite a bit, and you're going to lose a bunch of time just trying to let them cool down.
Right here is where the 93 is going to get back on the throttle. Snaps it free. Lucky for the 82. He wasn't involved in anything else with the 25 there with the apology. Definitely got into the back of him and helped that truck around. Barrett Morton, still your leader, 52 laps in. This is starting to help that fuel run. You might not see a green flag pit stop. You might not see another pit stop at all. However, if I'm outside the top 10, we get another yellow. I think I might come down and get one of those sets just to see if I can make up positions. Cody, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would. You had some of these front guys, they were trying to fake some of the guys in the back half of that top 10 to come down and try and get them, but didn't look like anybody fell for it besides some of the guys that were in the back. But definitely, if there's another caution, come get those 4 tires, fill your tank back up, because at that point you'll definitely be able to make it to the end.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the strategy of some of these guys up towards the front don't get the memo and they don't come down pit road. You could stand to gain easily into the top 5. Just got to play that chess match week in, week out. That's what it's all about here with the red spoilers. The top 12, playoff race number 5. Live from New Hampshire. We're going to take another quick commercial break here on V-Speed. You're watching the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live at New Hampshire, just in time for the green to come back out on lap 55. The 9 of Barrett Morton will lead him into turn 1. Healy misses a gear, and he's going to have a dive from the 0-4 Christopher McCullough for second.
Looks like Peyton had a pretty bad start there as well. I don't know if he was in a wrong gear, but allowed that 0-4 to make that dive.
Yeah, 2 trucks there, and it looks like Healy has got it back up to full song now. But the 51 got passed by about 3 trucks here. He's got Grenier on the outside now as they go down the front stretch. Going to stop the bleeding here for this machine. You know, Hubbard winning that first stage. Everybody else seems to have figured something else out. Or they were sandbagging a little bit. Maybe they thought, well, we can save some tires, maybe play a little bit of a different strategy. We don't want to show our hand this early in the race. Let him go up there and think he's fast, and then we'll take it away from him as Healy goes to the inside of the 9 for the lead. And he'll take it. New leader, Alex Healy in the 97. But on a callback here with the 9 of Morton to the inside and 1. He's not going to give it up easily. These guys side by side out of turn 2. Christopher McCullough decides to go high and follow that momentum.
Looks like Christopher wants to look to that outside of Healy and try and put it 3 wide, but I think he's thinking better of it.
He's peaked there a couple times. I think part of it too, though, is it's kind of hard to judge the corners when you're on that outside. And if you go a little bit higher, you can see the entry points for that car in front of you. Maybe get a little bit better run off the exit and see what they're doing and how you can find their weakness maybe. I don't know. 04 is going to get around the 9. Uncharacteristic here for the 9. Usually once he gets the lead, he holds on to it. He's falling back to 3rd. And the yellow's out. Oh no. We've got some playoff contenders involved. The 08 of Daniel Cunningham, 82 involved again. Ron Morris Jr. has popped the engine. He's going to limp this thing back around. But here on lap 59, it's another yellow coming out of turn 4, and this one's a big one.
Seeing the 11 get up into the wall, I'm wondering if it started with that.
It's Dustin Reinstedel. He's a little bit further ahead of this, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll blink back here to the number 82. There's the 11 sideways. He got some help from the 113. And then this is a completely separate deal there with the 08 of Cunningham getting into the 82.
76 in the 08 had a pretty hard hit there.
Yes, they did. Let's go on board here with the 76 machine. He's almost 3 wide going into this corner. Then this happens. The 08 of Cunningham touches the apron. He actually hits Sean Kaser. And that's a hard enough hit, apparently, to pop the engine with the 76. But the 24, he got hit after the fact. So watch this with the 08. He's down on the apron of the racetrack, and it doesn't stick down there. He slides up into the 82, then gets a piece of the 24. 76 nowhere to go. And that does it for a couple of these drivers already.
And it looks like the 08 got loose down there on the bottom as well. That looks like it's what started that whole thing.
We'll back this up a little bit further. Take it on the blimp camera. He's going to dive it down to the inside. Yeah, too much of the truck down there on that apron. There's no rubber down there. It's completely flat. So you got some of the truck up on about 5 degrees of banking, and then the rest of the truck's on a completely flat ground. Cameras on these iRacing fixed setups not designed to drive down there. However, we have seen in the past, and I don't know if it's still possible, but do you remember back, probably around 2021, Coca-Cola Esports Series driving all the way down on the apron, they were cutting off the pit road exit and actually using the very bottom of the racetrack there. So some of these leaders come down pit road, but yeah, I believe they were using the bottom of the racetrack to get around.
I don't quite remember the race, but knowing that Coke Series, I'm sure the amount of talent that's up there, I'm definitely sure they were doing something off camber with any of the tracks that they run at.
It's even some official setups were able to run down there and cut that pit road entry, or that pit road exit rather, as you enter turn 2. And it was kind of a shortcut. You could come out a little bit flat on the corner and got a good run off. I saw some guys successfully doing it. While we were watching that replay, Sean Kaser, Brian Kaiser, Chad Ross, Jeremiah Hobbs, they're out there a little bit longer here on this stint. First car with 4 tires. It's going to be Christopher McCullough.
I believe it is actually Chad Ross, unless he took 2 tires, because he's on the same amount of laps as what Healy and Christopher McCullough are.
Under 38 with 4.8 seconds in the box, so he will only stop there from the 38 machine.
So he's hoping for a lot more cautions.
Yeah, it's a big prayer here on lap 62. Plenty of time for it to happen, and with the older tires up front, that increases the likelihood tremendously. Green flag's back out. Sean Kaser into turn 1. He'll get this lap led. But how long can he hold on to the lead? Gonna get a good run out here off the exit. Pull away from Chad Ross. I'm sure in Sean Kaser's instance, what he believes, he needs to get away from these guys deep in the field and get up here to the front, get out of that traffic. Maybe this will turn his race around. As you see, the 04 of the first truck with 4 tires gets past the 38 of Ross. He's going to come up to second position. Some of the newer tires still working their way up through here. As for the lead, out of 2. Very sideways for a lot of these trucks. Cold tires starting to heat up a little bit. Slippery 04 going to pass the 24 with ease through 3.
That's in 24 and the 10 are holding their own, but I wouldn't see very soon these 4 tires eating them up. Oh, we got 2 loose.
Oh, that's the 51 of Hubbard. He's down in the grass. Bobby Hall, who was almost recovered on the day, and the yellow's going to come out. 73 of Parks was sideways in the middle of 2. I'll bring out our 5th official caution of the day. Well, that just bails out Ross and a few others that elected to stay out on the racetrack. Let's go back on the replay and take a look at this. First, let's find the 51 of Hubbard and see how this begins for him. So he goes to the inside of the 9 there, Barrett Morton. And there's the 94. This is the check up there. Somebody got into the back of Bobby Hall. And there's the spin after the fact. A lot of checking up through the corner creates the situation with Eric Parks to bring out that yellow. But let's go look at the 94 Bobby Hall.
Kind of looks like he gets into the back of the 07 and just slams on the brakes to not hit him harder than what he already had.
Yeah, I checked him up pretty hard there, and then I think that was the 9 of Morton, or the 25. I have to back that up one more time to get a confirmation on that. But it looked like Kaufman or somebody kind of after that check sent him even further into the corner after that checkup. Yeah, that's the 9 of Morton's going to get into the backup. Kyle Mace sideways as well. But he's actually probably the one that brought that yellow out. He's facing the wrong direction through 1 and 2. A lot of drivers that came down pit road earlier staying out now. A few positions gained back for the 9 of Morton. Lucas Lyons back up here. Alex Healy up to 3rd. But Christopher McCullough takes over the lead under green. Sean Kaser falls back to 4th. Jeremiah Hobbs just on the outside there. The 10, a little bit older tires, but doing fairly well. I'm pretty impressed there with Hobbs and what he's been able to do. Started back in the 25th position. He's up 23 now. Still a lot of work in racing left to be done. With the 10 and that WD-40 machine. Is the number 40 taken?
Do not believe so.
That would have been perfect on this machine. That would have been absolutely perfect. You made the sponsors happy, Jeremiah. We got to get a number change here for the truck series. I'm putting up a petition up in the chat right now. Anybody that believes that should be a number 40 truck. We could officially call it the WD-40, and it would save me a lot of time announcing a sponsor and a number. But let's get reset here. Cody, I mean, the strategies that you came into this race with were how you were going to split this race up on tires and fuel. I mean, you need to keep your head straight because all of that's completely gone now. You've got to rethink everything.
Yeah, that's the split in the strategy. Gone with that second caution that we had, and a lot of it, I think these guys are just full force, run as hard as you can, get a caution, come down.
Well, that's the mentality at this point, and pretty much guaranteed to make it on fuel. We'll have just over 30 laps to go when we take the green flag back on lap 70. Christopher McCullough is going to elect to start on the outside this time. He will be the command car for this next restart. Track temperature, well, it's came down a little bit more than that. Down to 74 now. Was 77 to begin this race. During practice and qualifying, it was around 80 degrees. Slowly chilling down, and that overcast sky is definitely helping it here today in Loudon. Let's get it on board here. We're past the halfway point, so perfect opportunity. Find those volume knobs on your smart device or your remote, and let's bring some noise here on V-Speed. Lap 70 underway. With that 10 truck being able to do what he's doing with about 8 lap older tires than the guy in front of him. And Alex Healy hasn't been able to figure out a way around him either. So Hobbs is a little bit quicker than he was letting on at the start of this race.
Yeah, that's I figured 7 lap different tires would be a pretty big difference, but obviously Hobbs has proven me wrong right now.
Seems to be working out for him. He finds himself into the top 3 with about 29 laps to go. He's across the stripe now for lap 73. 04 Christopher McCullough is going to get some laps led. Alex Healy trying to go back and snag the lead. Barrett Morton, who started on the pole, he's down 4 spots. He's back to 5th now. Still got a lot of work to do to get back up there to these guys, and even with the older tires, these top 4 have pulled away from him a little bit. Do you worry right now, Cody, about the 9 situation? I know that his points lead kind of under duress now. after 3 consistent weeks of just not quite getting it done. I know a top 5 helps, but it might not be good enough to maintain it. We're talking about a 12-point difference coming into this week.
I wouldn't be too worried about it right now. I mean, he did have a good stage finish, and he's still running a top 5 now. I think if he falls back any further, that would be the point where you're going to start worrying a little bit.
So the opportunity, though, we have just over 25 laps to go. 25 and a half here as they come off of turn 2. Christopher McCullough, still your leader, pass for 3rd. Lucas Lyons gets around the 97 of Alex Healy, and he's going to put a block now, dives to the inside. Going to try to get 2 of them in 1 lap. To the inside of Hobbs now for 2nd. What a drive off there for the 10, though. He's going to hold that position. Lyons jumps back up in line into 1. He's looking back here deeper. Another guy that I'm worried about here today. He's worked his way back up to 11th, but that red spoiler was sideways in 3 and 4 just a moment ago. There's a couple drivers that I'm worried about. The 08, Daniel Cunningham, the 88, Wes Wigan.
Yeah, he's been sideways quite a few times these last handful of laps.
Doesn't look like that truck's handling very well. He finds himself in the 14th position right now. We only have 1 more race after this one before we eliminate for that top 8. Gotta figure it out here. This is the day that you have to mitigate that damage. And some of these guys coming into today, they know that they're maybe not the best at New Hampshire, but those are really the tracks that you circle on your calendar and you think, well, if I can do good here, I'll be fine everywhere else.
Definitely.
So a lot of the red spoilers are outside of this top 10, so that does help the 88's case here. Just hanging on to the edge of it is the 08 Cunningham, Peyton Hubbard in 11th. Back up here, side by side still for the 2nd position. Lucas Lyons contact with the 10 of Hobbs. They wiggle down the front stretch. Now Alex Healy to the inside for 3rd. Heavy contact there, Cody, and how did they save those machines?
That's got to put it on the driving skill of these guys that are battling for this 2nd and 3rd position.
That's a very talented save down that front stretch. We've seen a number of trucks lose it with just the slightest wiggle. The 10, maybe a little bit of assistance there from contact. They both wiggle. The 48 drives away. Alex Healy still trying to figure out his way around these 7-lap older tires and takes it to the bottom in 1 and 2. A little bit of a slide job in the making, but not able to complete it. 15 of Grenier now works his way up to the back of this battle.
Right, and these 3 battling just allowed Christopher McCullough just to pull away just ever so slightly.
McCullough loving what he sees in his mirror. He has a 1-second lead. Dive to the inside of Hobbs here. So Healy was able to finally get around the 10 truck. Looks like those tires are finally starting to let go a little bit for the 10 machine. Now Matt Grenier back where he started this race. He is one of the very few drivers that hasn't gained or lost a spot. He'll remain in 4th as we come by for 20 to go. I said that, and it's actually 19 to go now. So these guys are running out of time, and look at the lead. Lyons is shaving off a little bit here, Cody. He was about a 10th faster that last time by.
That's in part of it. Is Christopher burned his stuff up? Is he saving to let Lucas get back by him to start pushing again?
Yeah, you don't want to let him get too close here because the bumpers do work at Loudon. And they're very effective of getting a guy wiggled up out of this bottom asphalt. A different pavement down on the bottom of the racetrack, much more grippy. You get up there in those marbles after getting sent into turn 1. Now it looks like he's turning the heat back up a little bit. Lyons not really faster that time by. Let's see what we got this time around. You see that lead starting to go dormant at 9/10 of a second, just under a second, and a good run off of 4 last time by. 0.03 of a second faster. So Lyons, he might be in that mode as well, though. Where do you push? Where do you save? Take your time, think about it. He also needs to worry about this 97 because he's proven that after a 30-lap stint, he definitely can catch up to these guys.
Yeah, and I believe Alex is in just kind of save and follow mode right now. That's Lucas and Christopher. They do have a little bit of a rivalry going as well, so that's if they can get close, you may see some fireworks fly.
Lucas Lyons in a rivalry. That doesn't sound like Monday Night Trucks at all here on V-Speed. I don't even know the sort. Here's the lead getting shaved down to half a second. That last time by, he was 0.2 quicker. This time around, it's going to be another 0.2, 0.3 almost. Where did this speed come from for the 48? He said it's go time. Let's chase that 04 down. Lead starting to accordion. The top four start to shrink back that gap. In this field, very single file, very spread out. Looking like we might get this race finished under green. We're started right at 9 p.m. Eastern time, just over the hour mark here for Christopher McCullough. Very wide here off the exit of 2. He is pushing it hard.
Looks like he may have scraped the wall a little bit there on the exit of 2.
Yeah, and he has now allowed Lucas Lyons to catch up entirely. That's just a 10th here off of the exit of turn 4. The 48 truck showing that he's a little bit faster, but did he show it too soon? McCullough might have been nursing this thing back to health. He'll get a little bit loose here going into 2, but a good drive off the exit, and he'll stretch the lead back out to 0.3. Healy now 1.3 seconds back from these two. And if they get the racing side by side, we might see the 97 catch back up. We still have plenty of time, just over 10 laps to go. Cody, I'm getting excited here. It looks like we're going to have one of those down to the wire last lap. We won't know who's going to have it until it's over.
Yeah, it's going to come down. I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to have a last lap pass for the win. Healy started picking up the pace. He's 10th faster than McCullough, 0.2 faster than Lucas. So Alex is definitely in let's go chase him down mode now, hoping that as he gets closer, these guys start battling.
That race has went stagnant at 0.4 of a second for the lead. Lyons has lost a little bit of that nose. Hasn't been able to drive it in quite as deep as he was just a moment ago. Had a few laps there where I think Christopher maybe made a couple errors in that just, in quick succession that allowed Lyons from 0.9 back to get right up on the bumper, but then Lyons makes a mistake. Then Healy reels him in a couple of tenths. Now it looks like this time by, the 04 is going to be faster than both of them.
We got one spun.
Oh, that's Sean Kaser in the 24. Again with the 24, and this changes everything. This is going to re-rack him.
Who's going to take the gamble?
Hold everything. If you have an extra set of tires right now, Cody, I'm taking them. I'm coming down pit road. I don't even care if I'm Christopher McCullough. I'm going to come down to pit. This is crunch time.
They got 30 laps on these tires. They definitely have to come down and get them. Or you have to hope that if you're in the back of the pack, stay out and just hope that you can keep some people out with you as a little bit of a buffer. Because probably about 6 laps once we get back green.
Yeah, you could not afford to stay out here. It's too much time. If it was 3 to go, I might say take 2, but now this is 4-tire territory. If you've got a full set, this is where you take them. 04 into the pit stall, right side goes up, down and away, 2-tire stop. He's going to guarantee that he stays up here in the front. A few of these other drivers that were maybe going to think about the gamble, 48 right sides only, 97 as well. The 9 of Morton beats 2 drivers out. He'll get back up to 4th. Kyle Mace stayed out on the racetrack. Can he hold on to it? We take the green flag with about 5 to go.
looking at Kyle, he's got about 25 laps on his tires, so he was about 6 laps fresher than everyone else, but he had a couple of those spins. Was he on those tires?
I'm really surprised that more drivers didn't take 4. A lot of 2-tire stops here. McCullough all the way down to 14th with Ronnie Shirk, and first car to take 4 tires, Daniel Cunningham, and he's all the way back at 16th. And he will gain some spots out of this. I think he'll be a little bit quicker. But there's so many trucks in front of him that are probably going to impede that run or take his line away that I don't think 4 tires are going to be that beneficial. If there was more of them, you know, maybe say 6th, 7th on back, I think those guys would stand a chance to get up to the lead. But if you're this far back here with 4 tires, I don't see it happening.
I don't either, because these guys are going to drive the dog snot out of these 2 tires. Especially Barrett got up there in 4th with his 2 tires coming out of that number 1 stall. That's it. It's going to be a dogfight these last few laps.
Of course, you have the driver who stayed out, Kyle Mace, who's going to be the command car here for this restart. And if we get another spin, he could be in a situation of a green-white checkered attempt where he only has to get around this place 2 times at speed. Very good possibility that he could keep it up there if he wants to get gutsy and maybe block or gets a good jump on the restart, catches these guys sleeping. There's a chance here for Mace, and I like the call. I like the gamble. Try to turn this playoff season around. I've been on the outside looking in during the regular season. He's going to elect to start on the inside here. We'll have, exactly, you called it, 6 laps to go when we take that green flag.
That's in for Lucas. I'd be kind of worried that Mays is taking the inside here on this restart.
Yeah.
You got to hope that he does not spin his tires at all so he can get a good jump and give Christopher the fight that he was trying to bring to him before that caution.
Yeah, you hate it when your restart's in someone else's hands, especially when they're on much older tires. But let's get it set back going green. 6 laps to go. Remember, we have 3 green-white checkered attempts here in the Truck Series. Let's see if we have to use any of them. Green flag is out into the restart zone. Kyle Mace on the loud pedal. He's going to jump to the outside, maybe a little early there. We'll have to wait and see what the track stewards say about that. But the 48 already to the inside, into 1. He's going to snag away the lead right out of the gate. Morton on the outside. Some trucks sideways there. The 24's around again. He's going to save it, though, and that'll keep us green. Oh, man, Cody, 3 wide for second. That's Christopher McCullough, Kyle Mace, Baron Morton, trucks off the wall. 5 laps to go, and quite a few involved back there, but they're going to stay green as well. The 94 involved again, Bobby Hall, heavy damage.
There's the caution.
Oh, there's the yellow. It looks like somebody else lost it. That's the 11 of Dustin Reinsettle. Oh, man, we got a lot to unpack here. Let's just take it all the way back to the restart because these guys were wrecking 4 or 5 times before they brought out the yellow. I believe it was the 24 that he's going to get sideways coming off at 2 here. Get a little loose. The 4 Michael Robinson into the back. The 60 across the nose. 82 gets a piece of it. Then we go up here further. There's Kaufman getting past in the apron. They're going to get really crazy coming out of turn 4. There's 3 wide in front of them, but the 3 wide back here doesn't work. 0-7 into the wall. The 94 heavy impact into the wall. And then here we go with Dustin Reinsettle. He's going to send it sideways all the way through 1 and 2, and that does finally bring out the caution. Nope, that's maybe the 25 of James Kaufman, who does bring out the yellow there, lost the fender. About 17 opportunities for a yellow, but yeah, 48 of Lucas Lyons will be your leader here for our first green-white checkered attempt. Excuse me.
That's in. May's got away good on that restart, but you can definitely tell those just ate him alive.
Yeah, even just 2 tires making such a huge difference. couple trucks that are a little bit further back in this field. Daniel Cunningham, he's on that 4-tire stop. This is a perfect opportunity while the lights are on the pace truck. Let's bring up a driver up into this broadcast booth. Let's talk to Alex Healy, Flex Motorsports driver. Alex Healy, it's Bradley Cooper, Cody Anderson in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Oh, buddy, I've got a copy.
It's been a turbulent day here in Loudon, but you've been up at front, you've led some laps, you know this truck's fast. You got 2 tires. What's the strategy? What's the call here on this restart?
Well, I'm gonna, I hope nobody's watching. Well, if they are, they're gonna catch it late. I'm gonna send this B word up to the top, and I'm gonna hang on, and either we're gonna see checkers or we might see Jesus.
Gonna hang it out to dry. I mean, at this point, though, you've got Lyons, you've got Morton, you got a lot of guys that have been up front all day. You found the speed in the long run to get around them, but now we're in sprint mode. So is there a line that you can think of? Is there something in particular you've been holding on to that you're going to try here on this restart?
It's all ripping the top, really. I found some speed up in that pavement section up top. It just depends. I think Barrett's kind of been searching up there. I need these guys to kind of hopefully all go on the defensive on the bottom and open something up. Otherwise, we're just looking at a top 5, which ain't bad. But if we had more long runs, this American Nightmare Silverado has been fast tonight.
And I'm liking that paint scheme a lot more than the last one that I saw. So I believe it was an ass blaster of some kind.
That was it.
But
That was
all
it.
right. Well, we're getting doubled back up. Alex, good luck, man. I know it's going to be tough, but try to get you in victory lane. Let's see what you got.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.
It's Flex Motorsports driver Alex Healy in the number 97, looking to try to get his 2nd win of the season. First green-white checker attempt. Just having troubles finding that. My old age there, I can't quite read the letters on Discord anymore.
May need to go get your peepers checked there.
Yeah, I think so, but I tell you, I can definitely see that Lucas Lyons is going to lead this race for this restart. He'll be the command truck on the inside. Morton to the outside. Green flag is out. We're back live and racing. Green, white, checkered attempt number 1. And the send to the outside, going to rip the higher line. A little bit of 3-wide action back here for the 5th position. Mace on the middle. He's still falling. And how about Hobbs? Jeremiah Hobbs coming back, fighting again on the inside of the 97. In a battle for the lead. White flag up in the air. We will make it official. Contact with the 97 and the 10. Healy's going to hold on to it. 1 lap to go. The feud continues. The rivalry between the 04 and the 48. 04 loses it off of turn 2. That's going to seal the deal as long as the 48 doesn't make a mistake. A big sin here by the 9 of Morton, but off of turn 4 for the final time. Playoff race number 5 officially is won. Lucas Lyons is victorious at New Hampshire.
That was a wild finish.
It was crazy back there with Healy. We're going to take you on a replay here momentarily, but this final restart, we saw a dive there by the 04. He actually sent it so deep into 1 and 2 that he couldn't even hold on to the throttle. He got completely sideways coming off of turn 2. And once that happened, it was off into the sunset here. Lucas Lyons is victorious.
And it looks like we have some post-race action coming into pit road.
Oh, really?
Looks like it was between the 10 and the 113.
Some guys not very happy with each other, I see. Let's take it back on the instant replay here. We're back here with the 97 of Healy. You're going to see some contact coming on of turn 4. Of course, Hobbs is going to lose a position after this as well. A little contact there. And the 10 slowly losing it there, but watch the 04 in front of this. He's going to get really sideways. Dives it down, drifts, slides all the way to the wall. Almost touches it, but that loses him a ton of ground. Almost opens up the door for the 9. And I'm curious as to why this happens with the 10. I'm not sure what happened maybe earlier in the race. But here he is sideways. That's where the 10 of Hobbs loses another spot. He'll fall back to finish 6th here today after being really close to the top 3 for that final restart. 10 truck is not quite able to hold on to it. Alex Healy tried the high line a few times, just not able to get anything going. Lucas Lyons seals the deal. Go find the 113 here. Well, let's back that up just a little bit here.
Looks like it starts with the 113 and the 10 comes in and finishes it.
We're getting a good look at it here. So if anyone forgets to save the replay, Daniel Worthington sent around on pit road by the 10 of Hobbs. Well, sometimes it be like that here at New Hampshire, and you know, some short track tempers kind of close to that, just under a mile mark. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. Post-race interviews with your top 3. We'll have your victor and your final results for the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series playoff race number 5. More coverage continues right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back live at New Hampshire, the Overtake iRacing League has concluded its playoff race number 5. 102 laps and a little bit of overtime, but it was a good race overall. Lucas Lyons was victorious, and your stage winner, the 51 of Peyton Hubbard, he'll come home in 5th. Final results up on the screen: 8 cautions and 7 lead changes. Officially 7 incidents in this race. Quite a few drivers having repeat problems. The 24 of Sean Kaser out of the top 10 today. Christopher McCullough in the 04 saw the lead a lot today. He started in 17th. He'll come home in 2nd. Barrett Morton, of course, in 3rd there. Alex Healy hanging out on the outside on that final restart. He'll maintain the 4th position. Peyton Hubbard picks up just at the line for a top 5. Hobbs falls back to 6th. Then it's Matt Grenier, who was up in the top 10, I believe, every single lap of this race. He'll come home in 7th. Eric Parks is going to finish in 8th. Chad Ross in the 38 in 9th, and Daniel Cunningham, well, he recovered the day. Daniel in the Ghost Machine going to get 10th.
11th place, we're going to have Daniel Worthington in the 113. 12th, Thomas Hall. 13th, Ronnie Shirk Jr. 14th, Kyle Mays after staying out on that final one. Still a decent day for him. 15th, we're going to have Sean Kaser. 16th, Dustin Reinsettle. 17th, Michael Cole. 18th, 88 of Wes Wiegand. 19th, Michael Robinson, and rounding out the top 20 is the 25 of James Kaufman.
And not a good day there for the 88 of West Wigan. He's going to have to perform better next week if he wants to maintain that top 8. Final 4 or 5 trucks on the racetrack here today. 21st spot going to Brian Kaiser. Bobby Hall Jr., who started in second, fell all the way back to 22nd after it was all said and done. John Kinder, who was part of the first caution with the 07, he's going to be in 23rd tonight. 03 of Kenneth McCullough Jr., up and down day, in and out of the top 10 several times. He'll finish 24th. And then a popped engine, the only truck that did not finish this race tonight, the 76, Ron Morris Jr., will round out your field here today. But we're catching up with your third place driver now. Let's go down and find him. It's going to be the number 9 of Barrett Morton. And I'm down on pit road with him now. Barrett, man, I tell you, it looked like one of those days where you were going to like put it all together. You did it a lot in the regular season, but it's been kind of elusive here in the playoffs.
Yeah, so a lot of those wins were strategy based, other than Michigan. But this one here was just really, really tough competition. My focus all during practice was to make sure I got a good qualifying spot because starting up front was really big. It's really, really hard to pass here. So because of that, I didn't really focus on my long run speed, and that's why I was just so fast out of the gate. And that was kind of where it stopped. So I had to make some adjustments there towards the end and try to save a little bit of the right front so I quit losing spots, and everything just kind of worked out for me. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it with Healy, we talked about it with McCullough, but there was a few instances there where the truck looked fast, maybe in the mid-run. Do you think if we had less cautions tonight, the scenario maybe changes for the Spearcrest Digital number 9 tonight?
No, I was just struggling to hold on there right before that last caution came out, and I was kind of hoping something did come out, but then again, it's like, you know what, points-wise, I'm happy with the 4th or 5th, whatever I was in. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm pretty happy with 3rd, so I'm just gonna count my blessings and move on to next week.
You're a pretty strategic guy. I know that you put yourself in situations in a lot of these races that actually confused you with the other 9 that we have here racing in the league. But you guys, it must be a 9 truck or a 9 car thing that you always find yourself up in the top 5 when it counts the most. You capitalized on the stage points. You capitalized with the podium here today. How confident are you going into next week?
With it being Talladega, my focus was to try and get a top 5 tonight. Had a big lead going in the points last week. Points weren't updated for this week, but I think I had a decent finish last week, so I think we're okay. Got the pole, and then had a good stage, so I should be sitting okay. I should be able to pretty much have fun next week instead of stressing out the whole time and see what I can do to help some teammates out.
Well, the stress level continues, though, when you get into that postseason. Got to perform every week. Barrett, while we have you up here in the broadcast booth, anybody you'd like to shout out for 3rd place?
Yeah, so Spearcrest Digital, RD Designs, this beautiful paint scheme. Let's see, Cofield Supply and Service, everybody at Bandits. Congrats to Lucas. That dude has just been killing it lately. So I kept trying to threaten him and tell him I was going to wreck him, but I couldn't catch him. I had to catch him first. And then you guys, y'all put on a fantastic broadcast. And then Alex and everyone that throws this league together.
Out of that, Barrett, we appreciate your time. We look forward to seeing you next week at Talladega Super Speedway in that 2.66 mile behemoth of a racetrack. Good luck, man.
Hey, thanks, sir.
So that's Barrett Morton, Bandits Motorsports driver, getting 3rd here today. Going to keep those playoff hopes alive after New Hampshire. We have Cody Anderson down on pit road. He has the 04 of Christopher McCullough Jr., and he's with him now.
Chris, Cody up in the broadcast booth. Got a copy?
I gotcha.
Coming in 2nd place tonight. Congrats on the 2nd place. Walk us through that final restart there on what was going through your mind. What did you need to do to catch Lucas?
I needed a couple laps. I was not the greatest on start off. I needed a couple laps to get my momentum, and I just drove it and got loose out of two, and then had to go to defensive mode. I really didn't need that caution to begin with there. I had a nice lead and I had tires saved. Lucas got close and then I got on the gas, started pulling again. But that's racing and that's what we do.
Well, he started 17th tonight, led 28 laps, finished second. All in all, great night for you. Anybody you'd like to thank for that truck tonight?
Yeah, this '04 Chevy Silverado, this McCullough Motorsports truck was really good. I really excel on these off throttle tracks. I messed up my qualifying, put myself in a hole, and I'm thankful to get through with a clean truck. I got to thank everybody that supports me. I got a lot of family and friends that watch. Got to thank my teammates and thank all these drivers. It's been a long, grueling season. There's been some ruffling of feathers, but in the end, when you can race hard side by side with these guys and come through on the other end, it's a lot of fun.
Well, congrats on your second place tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week at Talladega.
Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
Second place finisher Christopher McCullough in the 0-4. Another great day for him. And, when you're trying to make that top 8, this makes it a little bit easier. You got that race next week that could go any one of 1,000 ways. So you kind of, like Morton said, you got to try to do it here because next week it kind of help you relax a little bit. But finally, that brings us down to victory lane. Into V-Speed victory lane is Lucas Lyons. Brings it home at New Hampshire on the podium, on the front. Lucas, I mean, what stress level did you have there on that final restart? You had caught up to the 0-4 with about 6 to go. We had that yellow that set everything off. Before that point, did you think, oh man, I'm just going to end up maybe second or worse? And I guess once that caution came out, what was you feeling after that?
I'm honestly really glad that caution came out because I had to burn up my tires to get up to Chris. He did a great job at saving tire. He was the second in front, and I don't know what made me remember this, but I remember the line that Daniel was running earlier in the race, going all the way down to the apron, and then coming up about a lane, then going back down, and he was passing a bunch of cars like that. Tried it, got all the way to his rear bumper, and he started pulling away again after he had a small little moment out of turn 2. And I was like, man, caution would be kind of great. And I heard Daniel go, I'm so sorry, man. I saw the yellow flag. I was like, I might got it. Came down pit road, figured no one was going to take 4. So I took right sides. And then Kyle took the bottom. And I was like, I have to get a good start here. And that's what I got. And I feel like that's what gave me the win. If he would have took the top, it would have been probably a different story. I feel like McCullough would have had the win instead of me, but I'm kind of glad that the rule book is in there because I kind of called him out because he didn't call the top. So I was like, I didn't hear him call the top, so he had to go back down to the bottom.
Yeah, I mean the rules here and what I mean, Lucas, you probably have memorized them at this point with the turbulent season that you've had, and you race with these guys with 2 different series. How difficult is it here as we get into that final 8 for your mindset? With are you focused just on one series at this point, or are you going to continue on with the Xfinity?
I'm definitely going to keep running both. I like getting paid. I feel like I have a good speed in the Xfinity. So I've been running the non-playoff championship, and right now I'm leading that by 2 points by the person I had some run-ins with in Xfinity. So that should be pretty entertaining going into tomorrow night. And I will say I feel like it's definitely harder in the truck series. That's just me, my 100% honest opinion on that.
It's definitely tighter. You can see it statistically. It's been, a lot of multi-win drivers, and the competition's been pretty stout. You've seen guys that have kind of made their premiere in this series, and Hubbard turning it up late. You have the 0-8 of Cunningham turning it up late. So it's been few and far between for the 48 team as the playoffs began. But while we have you up here in this victory, anybody you'd like to shout out?
Well, I want to point out real quick that you pointed out 2 bandits guys there, and the people
Delivered
at
on
bandits
purpose.
the people at bandits have been bringing their popcorn because we make it pretty entertaining and make people in wheelchairs stand up. So
Wow.
you using a quote that Baker that got drafted to the Patriots said. I want to thank Coalfield Asphalt Refinishing, Coalfield Supply and Service, God Oliver Racing, Southeast Tutoring, Honor Home Loans, top tier, and you all for putting on this amazing broadcast. You all do a phenomenal job. And again, everyone at Bandits, we've been slowly kicking it up here recently, and everyone at OiL, and Chris for not getting into me there, and not wrecking both of us. And I know he had a moment out too, but man, he's been really fast here as of late.
Well, Lucas, congrats on the victory. Go relish it because we're going to the 2.66 mile oval in Alabama. And I know that place can go a million different directions. So good thing that you got this playoff point, locked yourself in to the final 8. Congratulations. And we'll look forward to seeing you on the track next week.
I appreciate it.
Race winner here in Loudon, Lucas Lyons, Bandits Motorsports driver. They're all turning up the heat and looking to continue this momentum. Well, Cody, it was a good one here today at New Hampshire. 100 laps, a little bit of overtime, a little bit of contact, some short track tempers, a little bit on pit road, a little bit on the racetrack. What are your final thoughts as we collect ourselves for next week?
I think tonight's race was a good lead off into that final race next week. It's going to be must wins for guys and lay back and just try and finish the race for some of them.
So the must wins continue. We had some of those in the other series, some drivers that raced their way in, but now it comes down to just 3 races left. Be set up here for the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. We'll bring you all 3 series here for the OiL League. And overall, I hope you enjoyed the commentary and the broadcast. I'd like to thank Cody Anderson for coming up here in the booth with me here tonight, and everybody at OiL that put on the show. Adam Baker in the background, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, and Christian Hill, our other producers. I'm Bradley Cooper, telling you to have a great rest of your week. We'll see you tomorrow night. Plenty of racing here on V-Speed.